Hey everybody, welcome to Back to Action, a Power Rangers podcast. I'm Chris Pierdomenico here with
Gabe Barrio.
And today we're going to do our first standing review because it does deserve a standing ovation for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always. So special just came out on Netflix. We just watched it today and wanted to do a quick little review of it. So what were your thoughts on it? Did it meet your expectations?
Yes. I mean, based off the trailer, I've had an idea of what the plot was going to be based around, but it was really good seeing some really nice nods to past things, some tying up of loose ends, and some Rangers to finally get some exposure of doing like really good stuff where they were just kind of one-dimensional back in the day on the show.
I really liked how they really made it for the adults, which I thought was really interesting. When we were kids, you know, the storylines were not very complicated, and nobody ever died. You know, Power Rangers.
Yeah, and even in the trailer, they were saying kill or killed or dead, and they said it multiple times in this. But
I think, you know, just kind of having the Power Rangers for the first time, and by the way, there'll be spoilers kind of throughout here, so if you haven't seen it, go watch first and come back and watch this. But having, you know, Billy, finding out that Billy kind of inadvertently was responsible for Robo Rita coming back. You know, he's trying to bring back Zordon. So they explain it really well with the lore. And
yeah.
I'm glad they didn't try to retcon anything. It's like, okay. I kind of thought that's where it was going to go. I'm like, okay, well, you know, when Rita was purified by the Z-Wave, like, that evil must have gone somewhere, and so it makes sense.
It's not something they just pulled out of their ass.
Right.
It makes sense in terms of silly Power Rangers logic.
Yeah. So it is silly logic, but it is logic nonetheless. But kind of just seeing Billy, like, really some great emotional moments, really like heartbreaking moments where Billy's dealing with the guilt, and then we have you know, Trini's daughter Min, who you know, is blaming Billy and has the characters are so much more complex, and I especially love the trio of Zach, Billy, and Min. I thought that was a really great dynamic.
I agree, but the thing I really appreciate is, as much as we love him as a character, Zach really didn't have much back in the day. Yeah. And they made him so much more layered. They gave him a backstory. He was still stayed close with Trini. He worked for the Congress, and then he became her surrogate uncle and took care of her.
Right. I mean, I think became her guardian, it sounds like, because he was living there and was, I think, like her primary caretaker. It seems like there wasn't a dad in the picture. So... yeah, but of course, like, we have to get some dance moves.
Oh yeah, there's a great putty fight, and Zach pulls out the hip hop keto, and Min even says, "Are you breakdancing while fighting?" Great,
yeah, a great stuff. I mean, so many nods to the original series, and a tribute not just to Power Rangers overall, but like especially Mighty Morphin, especially season 1, but a little bit of season 2 and season 3 in there.
I thought a lot of people who enjoy Power Rangers, but because they kept with the series much longer than you and I did, they're always getting sick of the oversaturation of Mighty Morphin. But I think they'll be pleased because, yeah, it is very Mighty Morphin heavy, but even the main core Rangers in the cast, you know, it's 1, 2, and 3 representation from all 3 seasons. Yeah. And there's still nods to other stuff where Alpha's looking for Rangers all across. You see them scroll down Terra Venture from Wild Force, the Astro Mega Ship from In Space. Adam and Aisha, they work for, I guess, early SPD, SPA, so maybe a branch that started up before the future that takes place in SPD. Yeah. Kat's married to Tommy,
which I was happy to.
And they mentioned their son JJ, who was mentioned in the 25th special.
I think he was seen in the 25th special briefly,
and I believe he's a Ranger in the comics. But
yeah, so I really like that, you know, how they handled that. How did you feel about because I think the biggest question to me going into this, because we kind of knew where it was going to go. We knew that Min was going to kind of take over. And
that just seemed telegraphed from the trailer.
Which was great. Like, I'm all for that. I thought
they did it well with all the nods to Trini, archive footage and all that stuff. And you and I even talked about it when they're beginning fight scene with the Rangers fighting the putties and Robo Rita. They even took the old dubs of the fights with JDF and Austin and...
Right. Well, that was with Min's character arc. I think this is really Min's movie. It felt like a movie. I mean, in a lot of ways, like it was.
The production value was. I mean, it's still semi low budget with certain stuff, but it's a kudos to that New Zealand crew.
Well, it's funny, like the inside of the Megazord, like the cockpit, like it felt like the same budget as like the Mighty Morphin movie from '95. Like,
but better CGI.
But better, yeah, better CGI. But no, the inside of the cockpit, like how fancy that looked, it looked like it was right out of the original movie. I felt like Min's development really made a lot of sense, and how she kind of had to deal with getting past this revenge kind of thing, and the character just really worked. And hopefully, we'll see her kind of show up in a regular series.
From what I understand, Billy's coming back as a pseudo-mentor in the next season. He's probably going to be in some episodes, so I don't know. And they already, well, we'll talk about this. They plucked Zed out from Time, I guess, and he's going to be part of the new season too. But that was one thing I was hoping Zed would be in this in some way, shape, or form. I
get that, but I kind of liked it just being like the original villain, just Rita.
And, of course, we brought back Robo versions of old monsters.
Right.
Minotaur and Snizzard.
I was thinking that the Machine Empire was going to somehow be involved in this. Like, that maybe they were responsible.
Hey, maybe they had some technology or something. They followed in with Billy still having that girlfriend from Aquitar.
They did, which I wasn't sure what they were going to do with that.
Yeah, I was just like, do they want to keep with that storyline? But, I mean, it's in canon.
Right. But, and Robo Rita is an alpha, is a corrupted alpha.
Yeah. I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
Let's just run with it. Just run with it. It's not the most egregious thing I've seen in Power Rangers. Let's be real.
Well, it wasn't Alpha 5. It was Alpha 8, right?
Yes.
So
but it's Richard Horvitz.
It is, yeah. So great.
And not Jive talking Alpha.
Yeah. But the biggest mystery to me going into this, knowing, I kind of knew how it was going to play out, but I was okay with that. But I didn't know how they were going to handle the kind of, what I felt was probably the initial fight scene, which was, the original 6 fighting against Robo Rita. And the putties, like, are we going to hear the original Rangers? Like, kind of Amy Jo Johnson famously just said, she wasn't going to be in it.
She technically is.
But she technically is, right? I mean, so you do hear the voices, and I don't know if they contributed to it, or if they're just, it very well could just be stock audio from previous episodes. They have plenty of them saying, like, hiya.
Yeah.
But it was really, as a fan, like, just to kind of witness the canon last battle with the 6 of them together.
Yes.
Was really, really cool as a 30-year fan.
And another thing that we didn't even talk about when you and I were watching it, it's a shame that it took a robot version, but they're actually going hand-to-hand with Rita. Like, Rita's actually fighting them.
I think she did a little bit in Season 3. A little bit. Maybe.
I thought she was just standing in the background talking shit.
She very well could have. And she talks a lot of shit in this.
Oh, yeah, and Barbara Goodson's great in this.
Yeah.
She has some great, like, stupid, silly Power Rangers-esque one-liners.
Yeah. Well, that's what's great. So, you go back to, like, I felt it was a respectful way to honor, like, the original team, but, I'm totally fine that, Amy Jo Johnson or Austin St. John were like, hey, we don't want to do this, and...
Well, with Austin, that might be something a little different.
Yeah, but, I'm happy with what they gave us. I mean, this is...
Yeah, I'm just especially happy with Billy and Zach.
Yeah.
Cat and Rocky already came back before, and they're fine. I like them.
Well, and they got much better things to do in this one than they did in the last one.
Rocky's a firefighter. Cat, I guess, has some construction background.
Yeah, right.
She knows how to work a big crane magnet or something.
Apparently. But they were kind of more glorified cameos in the last special. I guess it was a Ninja Steel.
Yeah, Ninja Steel. They just essentially just had some dialogue and then they morphed and then did some dubbing.
Right. But here they really kind of give those characters more to do together, and it's really cool to see, like, Zach working with Rocky, which we never had seen before.
Yeah, and Cat.
And Cat, yeah. I loved that so I felt like it was a respectful way to pay tribute, to the original Rangers without, without them having to, get into jumpsuits,
right. I mean, they were going to be stunt people anyway.
Yeah.
Other than, like, Billy and Zach taking... I think some of the stunts are, like...
Well, probably, like, some of the big stunts. But
yeah, but, like, the main cast, like, especially, I'm pretty sure that was Walter Jones doing Walter and Steve Cardenas, they were doing that putty fight in the juice bar. That's legit them, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're still martial artists, and I'm pretty sure...
I don't think... Was Walter Jones a martial artist?
I think he's a gymnast and a dancer, I believe.
I think he was gymnast.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
But he still looked good. He still looked good. These guys are in their 50s.
Right, which is like, yeah, I mean, they look great for their ages.
Make me look like crap.
Yeah. But what I loved about it is it takes a very serious tone, which I think is kind of in the world we live in was welcome to me. Like, it dealt with real issues, with death and grief, and kind of seeing these guys you grew up with deal with this
You know what? You nailed it on the head. And this is what I was thinking the whole time watching this. It's like, this is on paper, like the execution was what the 2017 movie was trying to do with a silly concept. And they did it better this time. Not that I dislike that movie or anything, but there is a teenager with attitude in this, and there's darker tones, but it's still kind of that silly Mighty Morphin vibe. You know, they still have those stupid one-liners and stuff.
Oh, it's great, and I love that. I ate all that up. Like, you have to have a little bit of the cheese, and it was just the right amount of, like, you know, genuine warmth and heart, along with, hey, it's Power Rangers, it's kind of silly.
Yeah, I mean, we know what we're watching here.
Didn't take itself too seriously, but it took itself seriously when it needed to.
Yes.
But I thought it was a beautiful tribute to Toy Trang.
Great moment where so they do a parallel to how in the beginning Trini sacrifices herself for Billy, and Min's having issues morphing because she takes Trini's morpher, which hilariously the company's own. The special is produced by Bandai and by Hasbro, and they're still using the Bandai props because you can notice that there's chrome on the morphers. The Hasbro ones look like that.
Oh, there we go. That is an oversight, apparently. So she sacrifices
herself for Billy, and Rita's attack hits the morpher, and she sees visions of archive footage of Trini, and it's really nice.
It is. It's very, very sweet. This was a love letter to the fans, obviously. Love letter to 30 years of Power Rangers, but also was just a beautiful tribute to Toy Trang. Like, I felt very much in the same way like Ghostbusters Afterlife was a beautiful tribute to Howard Ramis. Yes. I felt like they handled it very similarly. I think we did hear some Toy Trang at the beginning.
Yeah, that had to be an old line that they just edited, and it was well done.
And it worked well, whether it was her or not. But it just felt like it was just a great way to honor a beloved actor as well as a beloved character.
Yes.
And
I can't really think of anything where I was just like, nah, this is stupid. Overall, I thought like I love a lot of the nods. We got to see. I would have loved if they were in it, but we got our Bulk and Skull nod.
We did, yeah. We saw.
Got a nod to Ernie. The Juice Bar came back. We got a new Rad Bug. Billy has a corporation where he has an underground command center. New Alpha. They still have Zordon's tube, which was cracked from Andros. They talked about the Z-Wave. Rita's plan is that she wants to go back in time, and they have the old footage of the dumpster on the moon. God, what more? I can't.
Yeah, it's literally like a window into the first episode, which is really, really cool.
Then I swear they almost stole that portal from Avengers when Loki came out. It looks exactly the same. And of course, the power for the portal, the time portal, is powered by Hasbro's Power Rangers figures. Because when the Rangers get captured, they get turned into figures and they just get drained.
Which is like the corniest shit ever. Yeah. But it's perfect for this special.
Yes. And I thought the weapons were replicas too, but as it stands right now, not all of them have been released. But they looked really good.
The weapons look great, yeah.
And the blasters.
Yeah.
And they were actually using them more when I felt like they didn't use them much in the show, and they didn't really do them to, like, finish anybody off.
Right, but they really did. Like, they just didn't. And I think the stakes are so much higher, with, the death of a Ranger, which is, I know Power Rangers has dealt with death before, but not quite in this way.
No. Not where a Ranger, they have had a Ranger die, but she ended up coming back.
She didn't come back, yeah. And I think the way they're kind of alluding to it, the way, like, in the end scene, Billy's like, I'm going to keep trying for Zordon. Man, we might see Zordon come back.
Hey, if Zed can come back, why not?
Yeah, why not? And Dave Fielding's still around.
Why not? Yeah.
Let's
have him sit in a booth all day, wiggle his head, and do some dialogue.
Oh boy, but I thought I wasn't gonna get emotional with this, but then like the end played, and they had this.
They have that song from I don't remember the episode, but it's the original six are sitting around, and Kim is strumming her guitar and singing, and Zach singing along, and it's a really touching moment, and it has a graphic of Toy, rest in peace, Toy Trang and JDF.
JDF, yeah.
And it says, "Once a Ranger, always a Ranger," which I love that sentiment, but they have done that so many times where it's just repeated ad nauseum, and it just sounds so fake. But they did it right this time.
No, it was it was perfect. Yeah, but yeah, and I think Amy Jo wrote that song.
I believe it.
It sounded really familiar. I don't know if she may have played that recently after JDF's passing. But I don't know if I'm mixing it up with an episode. But it was kind of a perfect way to, hey, let's actually see the original six together. I mean, it's not, we can never do that again, but let's try to do it as best we can. So yeah, highly recommend. Check it out. If you're a fan of the original show.
And also, if you're watching this, check out some of our past review videos.
Yes.
We've come a long way.
We have come a long way. We reviewed Season 1 and Season 2, as well as the Mighty Morphin movie from 1995.
And Season 3, and Christmas specials.
Yes. I don't think... Did we release Season 3 yet?
Yes, we did.
We did. Okay.
We did.
I'm sorry. Season 3. And the Christmas special. So, and we'll have more coming up. So, thanks for watching. Back to action. We'll see you next time.
May the power protect you.
Back to action!
I don't know if you want to keep that in, but that was so ridiculous.